YouTubes, how are we all doing? Hope you're all well. Welcome back to the channel. There's no intro on this video, so this is the second part, the BMW wing repair. So if you haven't seen that video, then go check out the repair stage of this job. So yeah, I'll give you a little talk through the procedure, which is pretty much the same on all preparation. Is I block the primer with 320 grit on a dust extraction block, and I do it dry. It's the same on all my primer jobs pretty much. If it's high build primer, then the first rubbing down will be done with a block straight off the bat with 320 grit, and yeah, I sort of try and keep it straight for some of it, and then do circular motions in all different directions. And I cut in all the top. If there's a wheel arch and a feature line, I cut in all the top first, get that all feeling how I want it to feel, make sure I'm happy with that, and then yeah, once I've done that, I've got all the top half above the feature line cut in nice, and I'm happy with it. Then I'll start on the arch. So I won't rub the feature line itself. I'll do either side of it, which with high build primer and my filler as well, I keep it sharper than what it should be right up until the end of the rubbing down, to be honest with you. So I keep it sharper, and I can see the line. When the line's sharper, you can see the consistency of it better, and whether it's the right thickness. So I'll cut in either side of it like I'm doing now, the top side of it, and then the bottom side of it. And once I've got the levels around that, I'll leave that as it is for now. Then just go around all the edges, anywhere where I've blown primer up to, any masking and any hard edge masking. I use a soft pad 320 in the curves and the areas where I don't need to get the block in, and smooth all that out. So that's all done in 320. You know, I like to try and show all you guys, you know, every part of painting, the preparation, small repairs. We don't do massive repairs here, but we do, you know, fairly heavy panel damage sometimes. So you know, it's really important preparation on a paint job. It's probably more important than the spraying itself, because you can get away with certain bits. It doesn't matter how good your paint finish is, if your preparation's poor, it's going to really ruin that nice paint job. So that's all the blocking down done. So then I blow off all the dust, get all the dust off it using a blower and a microfiber, and then the next stage would be guide coating it. So cover it all in guide coat again. So you're going to see where all your 320 scratches are, and then I start DAing it with an interface pad on, so a soft pad, and that's with 500 grit. So I do 500 grit over everywhere, make sure I get all those scratches out, looking in the guide coat. And if you see, I'm just going up to the edge of that feature line. I'm not putting the DA over the feature line. I'm just going up to it as carefully as I can, really, without sort of burning onto that edge, because I want to still just keep that edge sharp for now. Because you can make lines sharper or softer with decent high build primer. If you've got, you know, a high build on there and you've done filler work, I just find it's nicer to keep your lines sharper. So that's 500 grit across the top. Now I've gone back down to the arch again. I'm just keeping that flat across that face of that wheel arch, and not going up to that line, because for one, you're just going to burn through it straight away, and I like to manipulate that at the end and minimise the burn through as well. And that feature line's it's sharper at the front, and as it goes around the wheel arch, it tails off and it softens up. So I need to try and make that transition look right. So I keep the DA away from any of the feature lines, and yeah. So now onto the door, same again, 500 grit. Just keeping it nice and consistent, keeping it moving around. Don't keep it in one spot, and just keep looking and make sure, you know, it's vital really to have dust extraction on there, so you're sucking away that dust a bit cleaner, and you can see the surface of the primer and see if any of that guide coat dust is still in any of the 320 scratches. And quite often I'll blow the job off, thinking I've sanded it all and DA'd it all, and you'll see them again when you cleaned off. Quite often that will happen. So now I'm going round, that's all 500 grit on the DA. So now taking that masking off that I put on that edge, and now I'm going around with a soft pad, which is again 500 grit, catching all the edges where I've masked and little areas of primer that have crept under gaps and stuff like that, and the feature line at the top. So I'm going round the underneath, and now I've just took the top of that feature line off now with a bit of 500 grit, only a little bit. I've just ran it over the top of it just to soften that up a little bit. Keep checking it and see how it looks. And the second go round with the soft pad was then 600 grit, so probably not so vital on darker colours. 500 grit finishing off will be good enough, but I like to just go again over all the edges for 600 grit, and now I'm just going over the face now with a bit of 600 grit, just a quick whip over with 600. It just makes that, it gives that primer a little bit extra, less scratch, just for a nicer job. Now and again, depending on how you've sanded it, or you've caught a bit of dirt and dust under your pads, you can score your primer a little bit. So I just do that 600 grit soft pad after the 500 grit soft pad, and then a 600 grit DA all over, and that's it. And then a good blow off and a wipe off, and then a good degrease. that's it, we're on to the painting now. So it's all been blown off, tacked off, it's been water degreased and solvent degreased, and so it's the usual procedure with Mipa Waterbase. So I'm using my Satajet X5500 with a 1.2 I setup, and that's HVLP, and I'm at 2 bar at the moment. So first coat with Mipa is sort of a half coat, and you can see already just with that half coat, blacks cover really well in every paint system, to be fair, but you know, Mipa does cover really well. So yeah, it's like a half coat. It looks a bit wetter than a half coat, probably is a little bit. And yeah, I'm trying a few different camera angles. So this one, all this paint job would be with the camera on a stand, and let me know what you think of the camera angle. To be honest with you, it's a bit of a pain moving it around in my tiny little booth, so I'll probably be going back to the other way of filming me spraying, but it's a bit different. I'll mix it up for you a little bit. So this one will be a different camera angle. So that's the half coat. Turn the booth up. Well, to be fair, that day I painted this, it was about 35 degrees, so just used the blower, Satajet blower. So now this is the double coat. So one pass all the way from the bottom to the top, covering everything that I need to cover, and then on the way back down, I do lift off slightly, a little bit more, a little bit quicker on the second pass as I go down as the double coat, and just try and get that to sort of lay a little bit more even. And then just right at the end, just doing a little bit of flicking out, you know, being black, dark colour, quite easy to blend out. You can go tight to the end of the door and not really have any issues. You're not going to see any colour discrepancies in your blend, but just a bit of a flick out at the end. And then yeah, same procedure again now. Double coat down the side, start one end, get all the way to the other end, come do the edges and come back on myself, and a little bit of a quicker pass on the way back, like I say. Now we come to the drop coat, the effect coat. So the pressure's dropped down to 1 bar. I was at 2 bar for all of the base coating, and now 1 bar and a couple of light passes, sort of double the distance. Blacks don't require a lot of effect coat or drop coating, not like some higher metallics. A little bit of a drop coat into the blend as well. And if you notice here on the bumper, done a drop coat on one end of it, and then I went to the other side, done the other end, because I was running out of base coat, and you know, for an effect coat which can affect colour slightly, your effect coat, but it does on Mipa, because you can change the colour by doing more effect coats. I would just wanted to get the effect coat right, which on the ends where it's butting up to the quarter panel in the middle, if I'd have run out of colour for drop coating, it wouldn't have been so critical. So I was just a bit conscious of it felt like I was going to run out, so I put the drop coat in the areas that were more important. So that's it now. It's been dried off. I want to mix with clear coat up, and just giving it a little blow and a tap just to get any base coat residue and dust off the surface. So the clear coat I used on this was Mipa CX2. It was a really hot day. It was like 35 degrees in the booth. I used the slow hardener, which is HS35. So Mipa CX2 with HS35, and just putting one coat on. It was going on okay. I wasn't having any issues. It was all laying down fine. I was getting a few dirt issues in this job. Just then you see me blow a little bit because I noticed a few sort of specks lower down. It was okay across the tops, but lower down. But not making any excuses. It was a hot, dry day, and you know, people, any of you guys that have been watching my videos, you can see my doors are open out to the outside to the elements. It's not in a workshop. The front doors of the booth, and we'd have the booth doors open because it was so hot. So yeah, it's just a dry day, dry atmosphere, and bits and bobs were floating about. But I'm not making excuses, honestly. So yeah, doing a few different camera angles on this. So this video's been recorded instead of the GoPro on my head. I've been put it on the stand. But to be honest with you, tell me what you think. But to be honest with you, it was a bit of a pain having to keep moving the camera around and edit all those little bits out as well. But I'll give it a go. I may do some more this way. But it's far easier, especially on bigger jobs, in my small little booth, to have the camera on my head. So yeah, first coat is going on there. Just not a super wet coat, but wet enough that it's covered all the base coat. And I'm using my Satajet CC gun, which most of you will know that's seen my videos before. I'm using that pretty much on a lot of jobs now. And yeah, it was all going fine. 2 bar. Got that first coat down, went and cleaned the gun out. That had tacked off by then. And now going a bit slower, getting the final coat on there. You see there, I'm noticing a bit of dirt. See if I could just blow it off the surface before I put any more clear coat on there. And yeah, it was all going well, and it was all looking alright. Obviously going quite a bit slower now to lay down a nice coat, and then all of a sudden I spot there's a fly that's landed on it. And that's the second fly in 2 days in a row I had a fly land in a job. So yeah, that was a bit of a pain. It annoyed me. Don't mind bits of dirt, but yeah, when a fly gets in there, so I just doubled up a bit of tape and just used the sticky end of it, and I managed to get the body off, but there was still, his wing was still stuck in the clear, so I had to press on the clear with that tape. But it wasn't too bad. It had sort of gone tacky, and yeah, left a little bit of a mark in the clear, but I just buried a bit more extra clear in that area, and just give it a little bit of a block and a polish, and it was fine. But yeah, it really fucking pisses me off when flies land in a job. It's nothing more annoying than when that happens. And I'd seen a fly in there as well, and when I started painting, I had a good look around. I couldn't see it anywhere, so the little fucker was hiding from me, I think. I don't know what it is. They see the wet clear coat, and it must look like a swimming pool to them or something, and they just go diving into it, and you got to go and rescue them. But yeah, like I say, it was a really hot day, and yeah, it is a struggle in the heat. I haven't got any control over temperature, so you guys that are painting in hot temperatures all the time, yeah, fair play to you. It can be hard work to get a good job in the heat sometimes. Yeah, I struggle with it a little bit. It doesn't help with my booth, with the front of it being exposed to the outside. In the afternoon, the sun comes over, the sun's baking on them galvanised steel doors, and yeah, it gets boiling in there. It may only be 22, 25 degrees outside, but that booth's well over 35 when it's like that, especially in the afternoon. And where my booth, it takes the air, so for the intake of the air, it's taken from inside the garage, it's not taken from the air outside, so the garage is accumulated loads of heat, and it's just dragging that heat from the garage into my booth, which makes it even worse, because if I was dragging the air from outside, it would probably be a little bit cooler in there. I do have to sometimes get the painting done earlier if I can, but it's a bit hard to try and set that up, depending on what we're doing, me and Reese. But yeah, got the job done in the end, and it was all alright. So yeah, that's it, coming to the end of the video. Really appreciate everybody watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe and all that good stuff, and we'll see you again soon. YouTubes, that's the BMW 3 Series all finished. Yeah, so I didn't show any of the fitting up or polishing, but we done a full machine polish on this car. I think I will start doing some videos on the machine polishing. Obviously it's quite repetitive when you're doing a whole car, and yeah, we're not detailers, see, so it's not as glamorous looking in a dirty old dusty garage doing machine polishing when you see, you know, on, you know, detailers that do it. And I watch detailers YouTube videos and stuff, and they got all them fancy lights and all that. It looks great. So yeah, mine doesn't look so great on camera where we do it, but we get the results are okay. But we don't do any of the cleaning or the valeting side of it as well. But anyway, waffling again. As I'm getting older, I seem to waffle more. But anyway, it is the job all finished and fitted up. Yeah, it come out okay. The repair's all right. It was a little bit of a tricky one, that one, but yeah, it all come out okay. All the finish went all right. I did have a few nibs in this job. It was like 30 odd degrees when I painted it. It was that really warm day, and yeah, I don't know if I had the doors open for a while on the booth, so I don't know if a load of crap had blown in the booth. But here we go, I'm making excuses now. But yeah, I did have a few nibs in this, all low down, so yeah, but they all polished out okay. And then the car's had just a heavy cut all over. It's quite scratchy, this car. Heavy cut all over. Back bumper, that come out quite clean. That looks all right. So it's just dust everywhere, so it's quite blowy today. And then yeah, heavy cut all over, and then medium cut all over. But yeah, it's quite scratchy, this car. You know, the scratches that ain't gonna come out, but it's definitely improved it and brightened it up. And yeah, a few stone chips on the bonnet, but it looks a lot more presentable than it did. And yeah, the customer would be happy with that, I think. So yeah, that's it on this video. Again, massive thanks for everyone watching, and for your comments and all your likes and dislikes. But yeah, no, I do really appreciate everybody watching. And yeah, I know my videos can be lengthy, so yeah, thanks for sticking around to the end anyway. And yeah, really appreciate it. So yeah, that's it for this one. We'll see you again in the next one. Look after yourselves. Cheers.